Why would you trust government schools or police ever again? Hey, it's been a while, but I figured I needed to do another rant, at least on this subject. Many of you, of course, have seen that there's here it goes again, another school shooting where a bunch of kids just get senselessly murdered by some crazy guy. And of course, the political machines on both sides are just trying to get their respective things out of it. Oh, we need to ban guns. Oh, we need cops in schools. Oh, we need all this kind of stuff. At what point, though, are you going to realize that the government has failed you in just about every aspect of this? So let me get this straight, right? Mass shootings are almost exclusively in the US referred to as school shootings because they happen so often at government schools. So you send your kids to these schools and they keep getting shot up. Why? Why do you keep sending your kids to these schools? I mean, I understand that it's the default option. I understand that it's a service provided by the government and you pay a lot of money, i.e. $20,000 per year on average per pupil, to have kids in these schools. But if they keep getting shot up, at what point do you decide, you know what? I'm going to put my kids where they probably won't get shot up. And some people might say, well, it's not fair that you pass the blame on the schools for what's going on. Yes, it is. It's absolutely fair. I'll tell you why. Any business, let's just assume it's a business and not, what it is. If their customers kept on getting killed, if the place kept on getting shot up, they would run out of customers really fast and move somewhere else. Like, for example, there's a reason why so many convenience stores and other shops are leaving California, because they keep on getting looted with impunity and they're losing money, etc. If a school wants you to take your kids there to be educated and you don't want to because they keep getting shot up, at some point the school is going to figure out a way to fix that. Unless, of course, it's a government school, which just gets free money forever and they don't have to do anything. They don't have to worry about kids going somewhere else, because if the kid just decides, you know what, I'm not going to go there, it's against the law. They will literally fine or arrest the parents if they don't send them to these schools. And it's against the law for the parent not to pay the taxes that contribute towards this. So because of that, we have the situation where the schools just operate however, and if they get shot up, they get shot up, and it is what it is, right? It's really terrible. And on the other hand, police. So this is obviously a story with a whole lot of information flying around, and I'm not going to go into deep details assuming all the facts of the situation. However, from what I have heard, it appears that the police were chasing the individual in question who ended up doing the murdering, and he crashed his car, got to the school, and was inside the school for a long period of time, like 40 minutes. And the police would not go in and stop him for that period of time. And parents were actively arrested and physically detained for trying to go in and save their own children. Some of them managed to jump the line and save their children. Everyone else just lost their children. At what point is it considered insanity to keep trusting the police to keep you safe? It's not working out. At what point, if they were a business and you had to hire them with your own time, your own money, would you decide, you know what, I'm not going to pay them anymore because people keep dying. People close to me keep dying. The people who I'm paying, again, I didn't crunch numbers on this one, but a ton of money every year, they're not keeping me safe. In fact, they're actively preventing me from saving my own family. At what point do you just say, that's enough? And there's nothing magical that's wrong with teachers and administrators and things in schools or, the police individually that make this thing not work. What's wrong is they have no repercussions for screwing up. If your children's education is terrible, so what? The teacher still has a job. If the school is highly unsafe, is a gun-free zone or whatever, and teachers are not going to be able to carry personal protection into the building just in case something crazy happens. Just in case something crazy happens to happen, they can't do that, etc. It's an unsafe environment, And they have no repercussions because they get money. And if kids don't want to go, the cops, again, we're about to get to that, the cops come in and drag them kicking and screaming into these unsafe death traps that are government schools. They don't have the choice. Unless, of course, you have a little bit of extra money. In addition to the 20 grand a year of taxes that go towards the kid in public schools, if you manage to just have enough on top of that, you can say, you know what, I'm going to put them in a different school, one that maybe teachers might be able to carry weapons in those. Or homeschool if you have the time and, resource or whatever, although it's a lot easier than most people make it out to be. I mean, case in point, right? You have options to avoid these death traps if you're that case, but everyone has to pay. And the school just sticks around despite being horribly unsafe. And the same goes for the police. That's funny because we have all these calls of like defund the police, and it just turned into some like stupid argument over, do we want to get rid of every kind of law enforcement or protection out there and just like, yeah, I don't know, man, it'll all work itself out? Or do we want to keep the entire horrible system the way it is? How about there's a different option? How about defund those police? Defund mandatory police departments. How about fund something that works better than the current police system because it's not working? Not only are they not saving you and your kids, their lives, but they're actively stopping you from doing it your goddamn self. When you're going to have enough? And then we hit to the politics of it. The political system is going to be fighting back and forth forever on this. Saying, oh, more guns in schools is higher armed guards and blah, blah, blah. Oh, no, let's defund this mandatory background checks and muzzle capacity, all this nonsense. They're going to be fighting over that while your kids and families are dying. What are you going to do in the meantime, though? What can you do in the meantime? Are you just going to say, well, look, the government takes all this money in the form of taxes to pay for police and pay for the schools, and what we got, sorry, I guess my loved ones are going to die. No, of course you're not going to do that. So get your kids out of government death traps. Find a way with you and your neighbors and your community to protect yourselves and each other yourselves without relying on police. And of course, in the meantime, start trying to dismantle this horrendous system that allows this kind of thing to take place with impunity. Start working at it, but that's a background process. What are you doing right now? Get the kids out of the schools. You can homeschool. If you're in a state that has school choice programs, of course, you can get some of your tax money back to, help you educate them. But even then, homeschooling is not as expensive and difficult as you might think it is. There are homeschooling co-ops. You can do a bunch of stuff. Get with your neighbors, your friends, your community. Start figuring out a way to get out of there. And the same thing goes with police. If you are legally allowed to carry any kind of personal defense firearm where you're at, do so. Start learning, start being trained on how to do that effectively and safely. Where you're not legally allowed to do any of this stuff, I'm not going to tell you to go against the law because that's a stupid thing to say. Just do whatever it takes to protect yourself and your family with your community. And guess what? Enough people do this. The excuse of, look, but it's our schools. It's not our schools. It's government schools. Our police. It's not my police. It's not our police. It's the police. And they don't work for you. And they have no interest in protecting you. So at some point when people are handling their own business, it becomes really obvious that we can start to, wind down these government apparati, whatever, and start actually directing our resources towards better options. Putting kids in schools that if they're failing your kids, you can take them out and put them in a different one that doesn't fail them. Putting your money in community defense and private security, whatever, that if they don't do their jobs, you stop paying them and pay someone who does. Time to take back this country. Everyone talks about time to take back this country and all this stuff like that. They're talking about politics, about let's go write on a little piece of paper and vote that, well, what I want is going to happen because I wrote it on a piece of paper. That's not taking back your country. Taking back your country requires actual action, requires taking personal responsibility for yourself, for your family, for your community, and working together to make it all work. And just stop trusting the government. They screw up time and time again. How many more people have to die before you stop trusting the government and handle everything yourself with your own friends, family, and community? Ask yourself that question and then do something about it.